Coach, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, one regular season game to go. And of course, it's this Friday at Troy, 1 p.m. kickoff from Veterans Memorial Stadium. The fourth of 7 Sun Belt opponents coming off an open Saturday prior to playing the Bobcats. You and I just spoke about that. And I would just like to ask you, you played on Saturday night. You've got Thanksgiving mixed in leading up to the game on Friday. What's the schedule going to be like this week for the Maroon and Gold?
Well, one less day to prepare. So we have to kind of move everything up just a little bit. Yesterday, our Sundays become Mondays, Mondays become Tuesdays, is the way I look at it, and we're traveling on Thursday and we play Friday. So it's a little bit tighter week for us, and but our staffs, they know how to put together a plan and get ready for this. And during our open week, we did work ahead on Troy and things too, so that we could minimize how much time that we had by having some of it done already.
You look at offensively for the Trojans, they have the #1 passing offense in the Sun Belt Conference, 12th in the nation, and they're the #2 scoring offense in the Sun Belt. They have Corey Robinson, a guy who started 4 years at quarterback for Coach Blakeney. The Bobcat defense, they're going to have a huge challenge on Friday afternoon.
They really do. This is a great offensive team. They have great skill players. Their quarterback sometimes almost makes it look too easy. He's so comfortable with what he's doing because he's been doing it for so long. And he's broken almost all the records in Troy offensive history. And I think he may be probably the best quarterback in our conference this year. And so it'll be an interesting challenge. But we seem to fit to the spread type offenses, I think, pretty well so far this year. So it's been a while since we've had one, so we'll have a crash reminder course and get ready for them.
All right, Coach, and then you go to the other side of the ball, and in Cam Hudson and Chris Pickett, the Trojans have 2 of the leading tacklers in the Sun Belt Conference. Coach Blakeney's been known for his defenses over the years. What's the Bobcat offense going to have to do to get things rolling on Friday afternoon?
Well, #1, take care of the football, which we didn't do very good last week. I think we're going to have to execute and block a whole lot better too, and do the little things that we didn't do as well Saturday night. And if we can do those kind of things, then we'll be okay.
All right, Coach. Well, have a great week of preparation. Try to stay dry as it continues to rain here in San Marcos. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you Friday afternoon in Troy, Alabama.
All right.
It's that time of the show where Brand Freeman, my broadcast partner from the Texas State Bobcat Radio Network, joins us. And Brand, when I think back to last season, the Bobcats' one and only season in the Western Athletic Conference, great quarterbacks, Chucky Keaton, David Fales, Cameron Colby. This year in the Sun Belt Conference, we've seen some exceptional running backs and other skill players.
We have. It starts with the conference opener at Louisiana Lafayette. Alonzo Harris, Elijah McGuire, 2 really good running backs for them. Arkansas State, Michael Gordon had a really good game against the Bobcats, as did David Oku in relief. The Bobcats, by the way, themselves, 2 good tailbacks, Robert Lowe, Chris Nuttall. But as far as individual performances go, what we saw Antonio Andrews do this past Saturday against the Cats, extremely impressive. Over 200 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. And who knows, maybe one day we will talk about Robert Lowe the way that we're talking about Antonio Andrews right now. So as far as individuals go, he's the best player I've seen so far this season in the Sun Belt, probably up for Offensive Player of the Year honors. Best running back we saw this past Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, maybe the best quarterback we'll see in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, Corey Robinson, a guy who's taken a lot of snaps for the Trojans. And just going through my bullets here, Troy comes into the game 5-6 on the year, 3-3 in the Sun Belt. Those 6 losses, they've lost at Mississippi State, at Ole Miss, a couple of teams from the SEC, and a Duke team who's kind of taken the college football world by surprise. Troy went on the road and lost by 7 in Durham to the Blue Devils. So, you certainly put an asterisk next to that 6-loss number. And they're a team that thinks that if they win Saturday, they can go to a bowl game, kind of in the same situation as the Bobcats. Of course, the Trojans and the Bobcats are not strangers. Back from 1996 through 2000, both members of the Southland Football League, the SFL, with the Trojans winning 4 of those 5 games, Brant, but 2 of the Bobcats' losses against the Trojans came by 7 points or fewer. So kind of getting reunited. Coach Blakeney was the head coach of the Trojans back then, of course. Already mentioned to Coach Fran, you look at the offensive numbers, the Trojans are averaging 33.4 points per game. On the flip side, though, their defense is giving up the most points in the Sun Belt, 36.6 points per game. 12th in the nation in passing. Robinson, his leadership skills are off the chart. But defensively, again, Troy's had some issues this year. They're also, I talked about the scoring, they've given up 488 yards per game, last in the Sun Belt. And I think you do need to throw in the fact they played Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Duke. It'll certainly be a challenge for the Bobcats despite all of those numbers. Now, it's going to be a special game for the Bobcats, playing 1 o'clock on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving football, yes, Bill. It's so special to play on this during this time of year. You look back at some of the traditionally great college games Thanksgiving weekend, the Iron Bowl, Auburn against Alabama, Florida against Florida State, South Carolina against Clemson, all huge college football games. And we've seen the Bobcats play this weekend the past few years. You go back to the 08 playoff game at Montana, great atmosphere there, and certainly a year ago against UTSA in front of 35,000 at the Alamo Dome. So looking forward to this upcoming Friday against Troy. Both teams so much to play for in regards to bowl aspirations. That's going to wrap up this week's show of Inside Bobcat Football. For everybody on the show, I'm Brant Freeman, reminding you to unleash that battle cry. We'll see you next time.